Well, morning. Welcome to a new Harry's Farm video, and today is all about drilling, putting the linseed in for next year's harvest. Been waiting on the weather forecast to predict some rain coming, and today's Wednesday, and they're now saying it's going to rain from Sunday or Monday, so it's all action stations getting in the linseed. We use this Claydon drill. It's a hybrid drill mounted. It's John Walker's drill. The same guy does the spray, and you saw that 36-metre Bateman operating. And this is what we use. He uses it on his farm, and I contract him to come in drilling here. It's a really trick machine. It's a sort of one-pass machine. I don't actually put it straight into the stubbles. That's what one pass is. Because I do use that carrier you saw earlier, and we're just cultivating the ground a bit. But I could go to one pass with this once we've got the soil management right. Anyway, he's just filling it up with linseed. Drill rate, the actual amount of seed you put on per hectare is quite low with linseed because it's a tiny little seed, 31 or 32 kilos a hectare, so not a lot at all. So let's go and have a closer look at the drill, and I'll just explain how it works. Okay, well, this drill is 6 metres wide, and what the Claydon drill does, the first thing that hits the soil are these are fixed tines, adjustable, so there's no spring in them, and these are tungsten carbon on here, coating here, so they don't wear out. That's the first thing, so that breaks up the soil in this slot, and directly behind it is where the seed coulter is, and it's this funny hoe on a Claydon, because it's quite wide, and that is actually doesn't go quite as deep as the leading tine, so it's working in easy soil. And what's unusual, the seed, I'll have a look at this in a moment, but the seed is being blown along here by a fan, comes down this coulter, and it's got two holes either side, so it's actually distributing two lots of seed either side of these two wings. That's a lot of drills work on a disc principle, and they just put it into one slot, but this actually puts it in two little slots, a wider band of seed going in the ground. The depth, the seed is you only want it about an inch deep with linseed, but those lead-in tines are working a bit deeper than that, so 2 or 3 inches deeper, just to break up any structure underneath, any pan that's formed. It's all about not disturbing too much soil, keep those earthworms happy, and they can carry on their good work, getting everything eaten up, all the stubbles, etc. These wheels here, cleated wheels, row them along. That's how you control the depth. So basically the machine is carried on those, and it stops it going any deeper. It keeps a stable platform right across. The other thing to note is how it's long like this. They're not in a row, because you want to be able to have trash go through the machine. So it's the length of it means that if there's any straw on the surface, it can work around those tines and won't block up. Old drills used to have all in the line, and as soon as you've got some straw or trash on the surface, they used to block up. But that's the idea of this. So you've put the seed in there. There's another coulter, you can see it better there. That's a seed coulter with the two holes there. That's its lead tine there in the ground, and then at the back you have these little paddles. If you can see this, these paddles just smooth it off the disturbed soil to try and level it out, and then the final bit of levelling is done by these tines here. Now, John, how much horsepower do you have to pull this along?
We've got 230 horsepower, which
right.
is as much as that tractor wants to pull, really, but it copes with it very
and
well.
It's all right, isn't it? Because 6 metre, yeah, you'd expect to use more, but we're working, whether we've got better soil structure or something, it
pulls easier. We've been doing it for 6 or 7 years, and we've seen our soils really improve.
Yeah. I'll go and see this drill in action, and then later today, there's typically everything happens at the same time. There's a farm auction just down the road happening today, and they've got a piece of equipment I'm quite keen on, so we'll get this in the field, and then we're going to dash off to the auction, see how much this piece of equipment goes, whether I can bid and get it for the right price. Well, we're at the farm sale, just going to see a couple of bits of kit. Before we go and look at the one I'm looking to buy, which is next door, I thought I'd just show you this. So we looked at that modern drill, the Claydon drill. This is when I first started farming in the 80s. This is the sort of drill we used. We have the great big bags now, half-ton bags, ton bags of seed. But in this day and age, when this was out, you used to climb up here, lift this up, and then you had to put 100-weight bags in here, and that's how you filled your drill up, and you had to make sure it was all the way along. Because when you're seeding with one of these... Have I broken it already? I'll leave it up. When you're seeding, all the coulters are really close together. If I look under here, you can see all the coulters are really close together, and that would now block up if you were trying to drill that through lots of the straw trash that we get today. You just couldn't use a drill like this, and that's why we've moved on to these great big trail drills. Okay, well, the piece of equipment I'm actually after is that yellow strange thing towering back there. It's a stubble rake Claydon do. New price is around £12,000. I'm expecting to go to about £7,500 with it. I'm stepping back because there seems to be quite a lot of interest around it, so I'm not going to do a tour around up close, and we'll just see how it goes. It's I think it's lot 14 in the catalogue, so it's going to be quite early in the sale, and then we can get back and do the linseed drilling. It's a really clever thing. What I want to do is just minimise the amount of cultivations we're doing, and this thing it drags through the straw. You saw it working before, and it just cultivates, and by having this machine I think I can cut down on the amount of Roundup we use, and if it does head towards a ban come 2023, well, this machine will get round the ban because it will constantly take out those cotyledon stage weeds. You scratch it up and they die on the surface, they dry out. That's the theory, but I'm a little bit worried. There's rather too much interest in it, so let's see what happens. It's always fun coming along to a farm sale because it's just the randomness of stuff here. There's some bird scarers down here in this row along here, and workshop equipment, and I don't know, drinking troughs, etc. And then you come around here and it's the sofas from the spare room, and there's a few rattly old chairs and sideboards. You basically, when you're doing a farm sale, it's a clearance sale, so you just find all sorts, and that's what makes them so fascinating.
Oh yeah. But I said to somebody
folding,
that you think you'd gone over it with a rotate. You're trying to get here, miss?
Good boy for the kit. Hydraulic folding. Who's got me? Right time of year too. Who's got me? 4,000, 3,000. What are you? 2,000 starting then. Who is all I'm bid? That's £2,000 double rate. That's £5,000 I'm bid. 5-1. That's 5,002. That's 5-2. 5-3. That's 6,001.
He did
that's
have to put some...
6-2 fresh bidder.
He
That's
made 2 frames.
6,002.
He had rubber mountings on the seat, and then he made another frame to put more rubber under, so it was like shaking there and shaking here. Because he said it was breaking the machine.
That's 7,000, 7-1. That's 7,001. Mr. Hook shakes his head then. Bid up or loser at 7,001 the second time. Make no mistakes, we're selling away then at £7,100. Your bid, sir. Thank you. Especially with a tune access, with the board limiter. No wait, who's got 2,000?
You might take that. Right. Well, we got the stubble rake, about £300 under budget, which is nice. Now I've just got to fetch it. We're about I don't know, 8-10 miles from home, so I've got until Saturday, so I'll work that out, how we're going to fetch it, but that's going to be a very useful thing on the farm. Right, back to drilling now. Okay, well, back from the fun and games at the auction. Tom, you just see in the distance, he's been drilling while we've been away. Just wanted to show you this field. So this is barley going into winter linseed now, and we disced it all up. Now we combined this in July, and this has been disc and rolled for a while. We sprayed it off with Roundup, and it's just good to see how much of that straw has disappeared. By doing that soil mix, those earthworms have been doing their job, munching away, and just the trash, all that straw trash is disappearing. Let's say the Claydon drill, what he's doing, he's got amazing satellite navigation on this tractor. It's auto steer, so it works to precision of around 2 to 3 centimetres now. So he's actually drilling a tram line from last year, so the wheelings are always in the same place, so that any compaction is localised to those tram lines. He's flying along there. Part of this machine, speed is of an essence, and how it works. You saw those coulters going through. It busts the soil up without bubbling it up too much. Those coulters are dragging behind and the linseed is just been put in down those fans. What I didn't show you in that there's a great big fan that blows the seed from the metering unit that decides how much seed to send out down those tubes to those coulters. You can always hear a fan going on this sort of machine. That's how the seed comes from that hopper down to the coulters, just blown along those pipes. And he'll take his hands off the steering wheel. He's not touching the steering wheel. Satellite knows precisely where it is, and he goes up and down the field, and it is so precise, this modern way of farming. I can't tell you. They're talking about on close drilling, some people are drilling sort of 5-6 inches apart. They can get it to drill in between the coulter marks with this satellite navigation. So each year they alternate where the drill goes. Anyway, I'm waffling. I need to get on. My next job now is, once he's drilled all the linseed, is go around, roll it, and that's it. It's like polishing, and that's the final operation. We'll come in with a pre-emergent spray, and that will zap any weeds that decide to grow. And then you sit back, and hopefully nature does its work. It rains next week and it all chits and grows. So that's hopefully the next time you'll join us is when we're doing that. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this Harry's Farm edition with a starter drilling and a little bit of auction fun in there as well. If you have enjoyed this video, please keep watching. Thanks for subscribing, and I'll see you soon.